All righty, you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 as playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Pittsburgh Steelers. And why are the Pittsburgh Steelers 0-16? Because they suck. Haven't won a Super Bowl since after the 2008 season. Haven't won a Super Bowl in 15 seasons. Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, man, this stuff gets me every time. Welcome to Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or everybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away. Throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box. I give me 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But what's up, Jersey guys? Hey, Jersey guys in the house. There you go. I mean, that's also as I'm saying. I mean, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Unfortunately, the first one's called the Saquon. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe give this video a thumbs up or share this video. That would be freaking awesome. And then finally, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link. I'll go over that in just a second. Don't underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. I can't stand change. I like things just the way they are. Don't be mixing stuff up on me. I'm too much of a moron to kind of, to change, right? I like things just the way they are. The link underneath it, to me, it's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter. It will always be Twitter, right? I'm one of them get off my lawn type of guys, right? Keep things just the way they are, right? Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants me to call it, that's on you, bro. I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter, okay? Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. And then finally, the link on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. We have over 8,400 members in the group. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, well, another day, another OTA on the way. Hey, I got a major question. Do you think Drew Lock will be 100% week 1? No, not good. I don't know. It depends upon Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones would be the guy. Just what I'm hearing, it sounds like he's kind of right on schedule, to be, just stuff I'm, reading. It seems like he's looking pretty good. I think he'll be under center, week 1. The thing is, I'm interested to see is how much does he play in the preseason? It doesn't matter who, basically who you put him out, who week 1 is, does he play in the preseason at all? At least take some snaps or something like that. But I think right now, he gives the Giants their best, chance to win. He knows the offense better. He's been with Dable for 2 seasons. Exactly. P-Dot said, P-Dot. Yeah. the New York Giants Encyclopedia Britannica. P-Dot. He'll remember every for the last 40 years because I think since 83. I think he's been with the Giants since 83. So you raffle off a guy. Yo, you remember Johnny Bag of Donuts from 1987? Oh, yeah. Yep. From Alcorn State, 5th round pick. Pick number 142. Yeah, tight end. He was about 6'3", 6'3.5", about 242 pounds. Yeah, I had dinner with his wife the other day, and we had I remember interviewing him. Oh yeah, he was number 86. I remember that guy. Yeah. Oh yeah, guy's got his memory's like a steel trap. You know what I mean? He's unbelievable. Yeah, Joe Benigno. Yeah, oh yeah. I remember Joey Bag of Donuts, Joe Benigno. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Oh yeah. But I think Daniel Jones, he gives you the best chance to win. I mean, unless there's something, just unless he has some type of a setback with his knee or whatever like that. But he seems like he's right on track. And so I'm too much of an idiot. We got June, July, so we got like 4 months. I mean, he's had his surgery. He's out of the bandages. He's not crutch. He's not a crutch. He's out there running around. He still has 4 months to go. So he knows his offense really well. Obviously, you can't run the same plays every year. Obviously, there's no Lombardi sweep. Well, we're just going to run one play. It's going to be the Lombardi sweep, and we're going to win championships with one play. That's we're just going to hand it. We're just going to have Kramer and Fuzzy Thurston, right? they're gonna run the interference, and we're gonna block guys down, and we're gonna have Jim Taylor, behind the interference. He's gonna run, and that's the only play we're gonna run. You can't do that nowadays. So you always got to sprinkle in some new plays or different formations and stuff like that, right? I mentioned 6 to 9 month recovery time. Yeah. Yeah, so he had. I think they said it was November. I think it was when he had his operation. Somewhere around there. Yeah. So 9 months. So November, October, September, August. Right, that would be 9 months. Now the thing is that you come back and be you can play and perform and everything like that, but a lot of times it's not like till maybe like the next season, right? They're saying that you might be fully, you might be you might be a step slow or something, from the ACL. So, I mean, it's Daniel Jones is around next season. Next season, once again, if he's around, he might be as good as new. And sometimes I heard people say he might even be better than new, if coming back from an ACL, but it's not usually like the second season or so. So, but I definitely think without question, he'll be there. He'll be the starter week 1 without question. Right now, he just gives the Giants the best chance, I think, to win. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Hopefully everything goes fine. Hopefully hopefully he doesn't have a bad season like he did last year and all and whatnot. Because the problem is that once you start cracking open that can of worms, and if something goes wrong and you got Drew Lock in there and you send him in, you pull Daniel Jones out. I think Bill Parcells said if you have 2 quarterbacks, you actually have no quarterbacks. So we'll have to wait and see. But no, I think Daniel Jones will be there. Yeah, he'll be the guy. But the one thing with Daniel Jones is that leads me to my first little thing here. It shows you the who is this? AZ Sports. Phew. AZ Sports. Okay. They give a thing surprising rookie of the year odds for Malik Nabers heading into the New York Giants OTAs. Now they don't obviously who is this here? This is from FanDuel. Malik Nabers is not he's not even the leading wide receiver too. His odds are not very good now. Quite possibly, there's a good chance. His odds aren't good for winning the. We signed that kid Nathan. Yep. We're gonna be talking about him too. Yeah, from the OTAs. Yep. But with Malik Nabers, as far as not having phenomenal odds to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, well, that's the thing, is that the top two guys here, obviously Caleb Williams is number one. Now he's got some, man, he's got some weapons to throw the ball to. Holy cow. But then they get Jaden Daniels. Obviously, he's the one that Nabers and Daniels, they made a $10,000 bet, which they've since rescinded because the NFL doesn't like players betting. But Jaden Daniels is number two. Now, Caleb Williams is apparently a plus 150 to win the Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year honors. Jaden Daniels is a plus 600. Marvin Harrison is at number three. He's a plus 700 to win. And then, oddly, Malik Nabers is tied with J.J. McCarthy at a plus 1,400. Xavier Worthy is a plus 2,000. Bo Nix is a plus 2,000. And Drake May is a plus 2,000. But Caleb Williams is a plus 150. So he's by far and away, of course, according to FanDuel, they got their odds on Caleb Williams. Says, as OTAs kick off for the Giants this week, one thing is going to become abundantly clear. Malik Nabers is going to be the focal point of the offense. Yep. Giants spent their 6th overall pick on him, believing he brings game-changing talent, according to General Manager Joe Schoen. Darren Waller could retire at any moment. Darius Slayton has been fairly consistent for the Giants, but isn't a strong lead receiver. And you know, hey, who knows? Darius Slayton wants a contract extension, and I don't know if he's going to wind up getting that. So we'll have to wait and see what he decides to do. But the team, and more specifically Daniel Jones, is clearly going to have to lean on Nabers heavily to find success this year. And despite that fact, most sportbooks have Nabers as a complete long shot to win the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2024. Why is that? And can he realistically win one of the most prestigious awards in professional football this season? Recent Offensive Player of the Year awards winners. Many fans often believe that the Offensive Player of the Year awards have simply become best quarterback, but not necessarily, as Benny Hill would say. Competitions, but that's surprisingly untrue. While it's true that 4 quarterbacks have won the NFL Offensive Player of the Year award in the last 8 years, it's also true that 7 non-quarterbacks have won the award in the last 11. C.J. Stroud, most certainly deserved to win it last year. 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns as a rookie. Wow, what a great season. And Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, and Dak Prescott all won it in their respective impressive debut seasons. However, we've also seen wide receiver stars like Garrett Wilson, Jamar Chase, and Odell Beckham Jr. in 2014 win it at receivers as well. All the other major recent winners that were running backs, but given how the league is trending in a positional usage, that's becoming more difficult for a running back. Oh, yeah, to win it. Given the talent distribution of the 2024 rookie class, this season's winner is almost assuredly going to be a wide receiver or a quarterback. So where does Malik Nabers sit in terms of odds to win it? Yeah, I said he's kind of a long shot. The thing is once again, the Giants don't get any love. Hope Theo Johnson at tight end. Well, that's going to take me into one of my segments too. As far with tight ends, oh yeah. Well, he's got his O-line, but he's got. I tell you what, man, he's got. Was it Keenan Allen? I think he's got DJ Moore and he's got Roman Dunzier. He's got some weapons to throw the ball to. Holy cow, man! Wow. And plus, just because. The one thing, okay, is that you can say there's a difference between wide receivers and quarterbacks. Now, granted, if you're a really good wide receiver in college, they can see your moves, and they can see your route tree, and they can see your speed and your separation and your hands off. Does not 100% guarantee that you're a total lock to be that successful in the pros. However, if you're a really good wide receiver in college and they got your route tree down and the time you're fast and they see set the hands and this and you go up and you come down with two fingers, you're coming down with the ball and all that stuff. There's a really pretty good chance you're probably going to be pretty successful in the pros. It's not always that way with the quarterbacks. That's just because this guy, look at he hits this receiver here and there. Sometimes you're almost better off going to Vegas. Woohoo! What do we got? Snake eye, as far as with the quarterbacks. So, they got, as I said, they got Daniels and Caleb Williams as the top two on FanDuel anyway, as far as winning. The offensive rookie of the year. So Walsh thought the quarterbacks made the receivers. Today they think that the receiver. Oh, yeah. The receivers today, they think that the receiver. Nah. No, the quarterback, it's a tough position. It is tough. I said, how many times have we seen quarterbacks come from college, and they drafted wherever, this guy's pretty good. And he comes in, it's like, yeah, this guy stinks. It's tough. That's a tough position, boy. Let me tell you. That's not easy. That ain't easy. That's why, if Caleb Williams, he's all that in a bag of Doritos, boy, he's got himself a good chance of winning an Offensive Rookie of the Year award. But once again, a lot of it's the team around him is what you were pointing out. Now he can have all the arm talent and he can have the weapons. But as we saw last year, if you grab the ball and you're taking your step back and you have 13 guys ripping your head off, it's kind of tough to complete a pass, as Daniel Jones found out last year. So the one thing is with Malik Nabers, why his numbers are kind of, he's kind of a long shot. It's because he's got the NY on the side of his helmet, right? When I have no idea what Odell Beckham Jr. won the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Well, he had some dude, but the offensive line was kind of going downhill there, but we had Eli Manning throwing the ball to him. Now the thing why Malik Nabers, because these, the Giants, I think they were supposed to win 6.5 games, and and Daniel Jones, nobody likes Daniel Jones, and our offensive line was pathetic last year. So Malik Nabers, according to obviously the sports books and all that, he's going to have his work cut out for him because Daniel Jones don't get no love. And I said the offensive line was total, it was a turnstile last season and everything. So that's why obviously. It's not so much, also, who you are and this, that, but it's like who's on your team, who you're surrounded by, that obviously, helps or hurts your cause as far as winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year. If Brasillo can make this group functional, and actually on Big Blue Kickoff Live today, they were talking about that, what Brasillo was doing, because they were talking about what was Brasillo doing. How was the offensive line looking? They say where they were running through some drills, and they said they weren't hearing him screaming or something like Brasillo. Like, come on, you got, he was he was teaching. It's like you really couldn't hear stuff he was saying. Maybe he was pointing stuff out or whatever. And they were bringing up the fact that I can't remember the guy who was that, but that last season they had one guy on it. It was a first-round pick, and all the other guys. They were saying were either journeyman offensive linemen like Illuminor, right? Or they were undrafted free agents, and he made them pretty functionable offensive line, right? So if he can, if he can make the offensive line somewhat functional, if he can keep Daniel Jones upright, it maybe Dable starts calling the plays, right? Who knows? I'm sure Malik's going to get his targets. He's going to get his opportunities. Now with Daniel Jones, a couple things. Sometimes he obviously has a tendency to stare down his receiver. He's got to change that up. Sometimes I've seen a lot of times he'll drop back to pass. He's looking over here, and Darius Slayton's down the sideline over here, wide open, where he's got his guy beat, and Daniel Jones is focusing on this side of the field, and he doesn't see Darius, or somebody. But at least it seems like maybe Malik Nabers maybe more of a kind of, short to intermediate kind of stuff. Maybe hit him quick. So I could see Malik getting some targets without question this year, and so I'm sure he's going to get his opportunities. And if Malik Nabers stays somewhat healthy, I'm sure Malik will have some decent numbers this year. That's for sure. But once again, a lot of it depends upon the health of Daniel Jones. How does the offensive line do? We'll have to wait and see. But Malik Nabers not getting no love for offensive rookie of the year. But basically, a lot of that's because he's on the Giants, and I don't think any of those betting. Nobody likes Daniel Jones. Brisello's philosophy is you're more pass blocking. Well, yeah. Now, Brisello, he was with I can't remember the guy's name. There's two real good guys, offensive line coaches. I can't remember. The one's Jeff Stoutland. He's the Eagles offensive line coach. He's been there for a while. That's why every year the Eagles have a very good offensive line. He's really, really good. I can't remember the other guy's name. The guy's from New England. I can't remember. He's like one of the later day offensive line gurus. The guy, I can't remember the guy's name and they were talking about him too. He's from New England, but Priscilla was there with this guy, and he learned a lot underneath him and everything. So I can't remember what the guy's name is, but so he's kind of brought his theory with him. Now, of course, the thing is you got to take, he's got his theory, but he's got to mesh it up with what Dable wants to do, with the plays and everything like that. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm very, very, very excited about the possibility of the offensive line here. Because if you take kind of like what Priscilla was able to do last season and like whatever the year before with the Raiders, they were very functional. And, I said, you look at the guys we've got Evan Neal's a first-round pick, John Michael Schmidt's a second-round pick, Andrew Thomas a first-round pick. I said we drafted Joshua Zudo in the third round. He's got some prime time picks to play around with. We got. Well, I can't get. Oh my God, man! Could you imagine if we actually got worse? Could you imagine? Oh my God! That was. But I tell you what, I think he's their offensive line coach. Bobby Johnson got picked up by the Commanders, so he's still in the division, right? He's still in the NFC East. Right, I think he's their offensive line coach. So I don't. They saw what he did, and they brought. Yeah, okay, all right, man. Good luck. I don't wish nothing bad on him. It's just things just really weren't working out too well. That's for sure. Yeah, okay, yeah, you sure about that? All right. We couldn't pick up a stunt or a twist or nothing or. And I said this multiple times in my videos in the past. I remember last season when all this, we were losing, all these games were going on and everything like that. I think there was 2 times. I know there was at least one, and I thought there was 2 times. I think McKeithen somehow. And I said I remember. I know there's at least one picture I can see in my mind. But I think there was 2. Where McKeithen somehow got turned around and he was facing the Giants' backfield, right? And he was going like this. He was like blocking. It was like going to be facing the quarterback, like trying to block the quarter. I mean, I was like, are you kidding me? What? I mean, not facing the defense, blocking, looking for somebody to. He was turned around, like looking into the backfield, going like this, like, who are you blocking? What are you doing? I mean, holy cow, man. All right, OTAs. Takeaway day 2. Giants are back, and they're going to be back on the field on Thursday. So they're off Wednesday. They'll be back Thursday, and that's when the media will be there. So you'll get some media, some articles from the media in there. But the first 2 days, there's no media coverage. After getting OTAs underway on Monday, the Giants will get a day off on Wednesday before returning back to practice on Thursday for day 3 of the OTAs. That's when the media will be out there watching for the first time. Takeaways here. Big day for Malik Nabers. After starting off OTAs with a strong outing on Monday, Nabers followed that up by finding the end zone during a scramble drill. I mean, there's no contact. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing. I mean, knowing that you can go across the middle and you can, basically, you don't have to worry about anybody. You and the football. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it is a lot of times during a game too, when you focused in on the football, but you don't have to worry about even getting touched in OTAs. So, second-year quarterback Tommy Chicken cutting the Parmesan found Nabers in the back of the end zone for a score. Let's see. There's a video of Nabers running a quick, I guess like a quick in pattern, or maybe he was heading toward the post or something like that. He caught a ball maybe 10 yards down the field, snatched it right out of the air with his hands. Solomon also reported that Nabers took the first pass on 7-on-7 drills from Daniel Jones up the sideline for what would have been a touchdown. Daniels continues to work. The Giants starting quarterback didn't get a day off following his return on Monday. It doesn't appear he worked in 11-on-11 drills, but he was active at 7-on-7 drills for the second day in a row. That's a big deal for his progress and potential participation for training camp. 10 zone work, another day of focusing on the short fields. They were inside the red zone. Monday they were just outside the red zone, I believe. Now they're obviously, every day they're working someplace different. John Schmelk reported the team portion of the practice featured all red zone work, and most of it coming inside the 10-yard line, along with the score from Nabers recently added quarterback Nathan Rourke connected with Miles Boykin on a shovel pass for a touchdown. Tyrone Tracy active in the passing game. The 5th-round pick has a chance to earn the backup role behind starter Devin Singletary, and it seems he's starting to find his groove. Tracy was active in the passing game on Tuesday, catching 2 passes. One of them came in the flat while the other was across the middle. Schmelk reported both could have been touchdowns. Well, I have to wait and see. There will be plenty of other competition in the wide receiver room for depth spots. According to Schmelk, second-year Jalen Hyatt scored a touchdown on a crosser from Tommy DeVito. I always call him Danny. While receiver punter Gunnar Olszewski caught a pair of touchdowns throughout the day. Defensive note, safety Jalen Mills reportedly came down with a long interception on the day stemming from a tip pass. Rookie linebacker Darius Mursal, the team's 6th-round pick, tipped the pass for an incompletion on a 7-on-7. Meanwhile, cornerbacks Deontay Banks and Trey Hawkins III both recorded pass breakups in the end zone. All right. There's quite a few stories here. If the 2 tackles play up to their talent, and John Michael Smith, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. A lot of it, man, I'll tell you, a lot of it is coaching. A lot of it's coaching. Obviously, they just can't run me out there. Okay, coach, make me an all-pro. I'm here. Yeah. You got to have some talent, all that and everything. But a lot of it's, I'll tell you what, a lot of it's coaching. I can almost guarantee if we had Jeff Stoutland, the guy from the Eagles, if we had him for the past 10 seasons, like the Eagles have, well, we'd have a very good offensive line. Let me tell you, frickin' what, guy's really, really good. His blocking scheme was confusing. I'll tell you what, it was confusing. It was confusing you, it was confusing me, but I think it was also confusing the offensive lineman as well too. I mean, I like how many times like I've heard like maybe Patricia Traina or somebody else like talking about like stunts and twists, and I mean just we drop back the pass and maybe one of the guards was turning toward the outside to help the tackle or something like that. Somebody stunted around them or they did a twist or something like that and ran right past the guard and sacked the quarterback. And the guard's like, was that me? Was I supposed to get that? Was that you? Was that me, coach? I was supposed to. I mean, like. Well, I'll tell you what, if he brings that type of coach into Washington, we ought to sweep him this season, right? Tell you what, because we got Sexy Dexy and we got Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. We got those guys rushing the quarterback. Man, we ought to get some sacks this season. Let me tell you what. All right, then we got I got three articles here from OTA. This is from Giants.com. Let's see here. Touchdowns. Rookie wide receiver Malik Nabers notched 1 touchdown, likely 2 if it were a live game. Well, if it was live and there was contact, maybe he doesn't catch any touchdowns. But once again, I mean, this is just, it's OTAs. There's no contact. The no data was a scramble drill by Tommy DeVito during 11-on-11 drills in the red zone, where last year's undrafted quarterback eventually found this year's 6th-round overall pick in the back of the end zone. Earlier in practice, Daniel Jones kicked off 7-on-7 red drills with a completion to Nabers. The receiver took it up the sideline, but because no contact is allowed, he veered out of bounds at the goal line with the defender in pursuit. Okay. Whether or not he can get in can be, you can maybe figure that out, and they're saying in the film sessions, but they can all agree, however, that during a live game, the competitive Nabers would have been on the board for 6. Well, he would have tried, that's for sure. Drew Lock threw a handful of touchdowns during the team periods, including a pair to rookie running back Tyrone Tracy Jr. He threw 2 more to wide receiver Miles Boykin on back-to-back plays and 1 apiece to Gunnar Olszewski and tight end Adoree Jackson after looking off a defender. Olszewski, a midseason addition, recorded the 2nd longest punt return in Giants history and the longest in 95 years. In Week 17 reminded people that he is officially listed as a wide receiver with another touchdown from Nathan Rourke. So good old Gunner out there catching touchdown passes. Claimed earlier this month off waivers from the Patriots, Rourke has not played in a regular season NFL game, but the 6'1", 210-pounder did set the Canadian Football League record, 78.7% completion percentage in 2022. So basically, darn near close to almost out of every 5 passes he threw, 4 or more completions. That's not too shabby. Of course, that's probably not going to happen in the NFL, but I mean, because their field's bigger and everything. But he also earned the league's award for the most outstanding Canadian. The newcomer also threw 3 touchdowns during Tuesday's developmental period to Boykin, Chase Cota, and John Giles, who showed his vertical leap on a highlight grab in the end zone. Second-year wide receiver Jalen Hyatt caught a touchdown pass from DeVito. Running backs Devin Singletary and Eric Gray each scored on the ground, but again, they can debate it in the locker room. So we got takeaways. Defensive back Jalen Mills had the lone interception. Let's see here. Other notable plays. Second-year cornerback Deonte Banks broke up a pass in the end zone. He forced another incomplete pass later in practice. Outside linebacker Brian Burns forced a throwaway. Rookie linebackers Darius Muasau caused an incompletion. Had that on the other one. Cornerback Nick McLeod sniffed out a swing pass and would have made a tackle at or behind the line of scrimmage. All right. Way to go, Nick. Way to go, buddy. Yeah, I mean, you want to hear the offense, but you also want to hear defensive guys too. You don't want to just all, you don't want to hear the offense scored on every play and the defense look lost and say, you don't want to hear that. Now, the remaining practices, we got Thursday. So this week we got Thursday, which will be 3 practices this week. There's 3 practices next week. Then the following week, there's 4 practices. June 3rd and 4th. 5th, Wednesday, there is no OTAs, and then they finish up the OTAs on 6th and June 6th and 7th, which will be Thursday and Friday. So we got 3 weeks of OTAs. Then there's the mandatory mini camp from June 11th through the 13th. And I think usually the 13th is more like a barbecue than anything else. So that June 11th to June 13th, going to be a little interesting to see if maybe Darius Slayton shows up or not. We got Vinny G-Man's in the house. What's up, hey? Adoree, yeah, Dan Solomon, yeah. Hey, Vinny, what's up? Theismann, Flutie, Moon, and Garcia all came from the CFL with varying degrees of success. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Garcia, that mofo. Thankfully, in 2007, we snapped the streak because he was trying to become, I think, the first quarterback in history to beat the same team in the playoffs with 3 different teams. Garcia, what the hell was that, 2002? When the Giants were beating the 49ers 512,000 to nothing, and Garcia brought him back and beat us, that mother. And then, what was it? 2006, he was with the Eagles, and he beat us. And then it was 2007, right? He was with the Bucks, and he was trying to become he was trying to beat the same team in the playoffs with 3 different teams. It would have been the 49ers, the Eagles, and the Bucks. But the Giants in 2007 says the buck stops here, if you get what I'm saying, right? So, but yeah, Garcia, he had our number in the playoffs there those first 2 years. Hanging in there, brother. Great stuff. Came in. Hey, well, thanks for keeping me up, guys. Cool. Oh, yeah. I mean, Joe Theismann. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Joe Theismann. Hey, he won a Super Bowl, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Got Doug Flutie. Yep. Absolutely. My man Doug Flutie, I always love him because he beat, I can't stand Miami, University of Miami. Because I actually, well, speaking of Theismann, I like Notre Dame. I'm wearing an Ohio State shirt. But Notre Dame's that's my college. That's who I root for. But so back in the 80s when the U started becoming good and they really started beating it, Notre Dame a lot. So I hated Miami, Florida. But so when Flutie with Boston College beat him in that one game, man, I loved it. That was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I was at that game with Garcia. Which one? The one? Oh, when the Eagles beat us? Because I remember it was remember 2005. We lost 23-0 to Carolina. And then in 2006, we made it to the playoffs, and then and the Eagles beat us. Then, of course, in 2008, Eagles beat us. Yeah. But thankfully, in 2007, thankfully. All right, what else we got here? And I got one more here. Okay, here we go. There's another story. Practice report, notes and observations. This is from Giants.com. During the individual practice period, I made a beeline over to I made a beeline. Who is this here? Schmelke. John Schmelk, the Schmelkster. During the individual practice period, I made a beeline over to the outside linebacker group where new coach Charlie Bolin was putting his players through drills. There was a big focus on hand placement and winning with the correct inside-outside arm, depending upon alignment. The drills stressed the importance of the edge players getting their hands inside, which allows them to control the chest of the offensive lineman and win the leverage battle. Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns were working with each other in these drills, and it's amazing to see how similar their body types are. And when they stand next to each other, Thibodeau is a little bit thicker. Thibodeau, they got him listed at 258. Brian Burns is listed at 250. So very similar body types. I then made my way over to the offensive lineman where we were working together. They were working together on combo blocks in the run game. The drills featured two players, either a center and a guard or a guard and a tackle, working together to block two defenders. One defender was on the first level, while the second playing a linebacker second level role. The defenders would present different movements, which forced the offensive linemen to work together in different ways to get both players blocked. It trained the mental part of the game for the offensive linemen to know how to pass off one player to each other. Well, I mean, like stunt or a twist, right? So, I mean, right? I mean, if you're a guard and you got to say a defensive tackle, right? And he starts going toward the tackle, right? You're blocking him, but he starts going this way. There's a point in time where you got to pass him off, or you keep your eye out for somebody coming around, right? So you pass him off and you pick up the guy doing the twist or the stunt or whatever around, right? That's very important. That's something the Giants weren't doing much of last season, that's for sure. It says it trained the mental part of the game, which is very, very important for where Priscilla is coming from. Doesn't like the guys making mental mistakes. Later in the practice, Devin Singletary joined the offensive line group, and they worked together on how to pick up different blitzes. Outstanding. There's a lot of teaching going on from both the mental and physical parts of that position with the offensive line group right now. The team portion of the practice featured all red zone work, with most of it coming inside the 10-yard line. The defense started strong with a pass breakup from Deonte Banks. The offense did score 2 touchdowns in the first team period, with Tommy DeVito finding Malik Nabers, drafted rookie free agent Nathan Rourke also connected with veteran wide receiver Miles Boykin on a shovel pass. The offense heated up later in practice and started getting the ball in the end zone more consistently. Gunnar Olszewski was extremely active as a receiver, catching a pair of touchdown passes. He enjoyed his chance to compete as a wide receiver. Jalen Hyatt scored a touchdown crossing along the back line on a throw from DeVito. Tight end Adoree Jackson was left open in the end zone for a short touchdown catch, while Boykin caught back-to-back touchdowns from Drew Lock at the end of the team practice. Rookie Tyrone Tracy Jr. got involved in the passing game and caught 2 balls, one in the flat and another one over the middle that could have gone for a touchdown. The defense made some plays in the final couple of team periods. Bobby Okereke and Ryder Anderson, don't forget about Ryder Anderson, combined on what would have been a sack. Trey Hawkins III knocked the ball away in the end zone. Practice ended with a developmental period for the younger players, and Rourke made the most of it. He hit John Giles near the front pylon, who made an amazing grab for a touchdown. 2 plays later, he connected with wide receiver Chase Cota for a touchdown. The defense came up with a takeaway, with Jalen Mills successfully executing a tip drill to come down with an interception. Cool. Now, one thing, what was it? What do we got there? Oh, we will see in week 1 how the guys figure out. You got that right. You got that right. I tell you what, because the first, it don't matter who you're playing. You got to line up, and I mean, you go from like weeks 3 to 8. That's going to be a nice test for the Giants. Let me tell you what, But I mean, regardless, I mean, Minnesota and Washington, obviously, it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you're not playing your best, you're probably going to lose. So, that'll be a nice challenge for them. Well, I mean, it'll be rather refreshing. I mean, if we can just one time, quarterback going here, Omaha. Whatever, he gets the ball and he stands back in the pocket. And he stands in the pocket. and he's standing in a pile, right? And we're not worried about somebody coming in there. Man, wouldn't that be just so refreshing? One time the announcer's like, oh, Daniel Jones is back. He's looking. Wow, he's got some, look at the pocket. Man, he's got some protection. Wouldn't that be amazing to hear that? Just one time. One time. Wouldn't that be unbelievable? Oh, my God. All right. Then New York Giants, a tight end cut candidate amid retirement decision. Now, if you look here, right? Now they got, let's see, this is from Over the Cap here, Darren Waller. If they cut him pre-June 1st, there's a little difference here. So what do we got? Today's the 21st. So they wait like 10 days. Well, 10 days would be a post-cut. But if they cut him pre-June 1st, see, there's be $7.376 million in dead cap money. They would save $6.7 million. But there'd be over $7.3 million in dead money if they cut him before June 1st. Now, they cut him after June 1st. Instead of the 7.3 in dead million, there would be 2.4 in dead million. And it would save themselves $11.625 million. They save themselves an additional $5 million by cutting them after June 1st. So, I mean, so if they were to cut him, and there's some dead cap money, and I think Patty Traynor said that they can spread it out like over the final 2 years of his deal, I guess. So I guess they can get like $1.2 million in dead money this season and $1.2 million maybe in dead money next season or so. But if they cut him, or I guess they let him go, or he retires after June 1st, or whatever it is, they save themselves a bunch of money. Now, this could also be something, just predetermined too. Anyway, I mean, Waller's like, I'm probably going to retire. You cut me, whatever you want to do after June 1st. Like, whatever's best for you guys. I don't want to screw you guys over. Nothing. I mean, so it's probably already written down and everything, and we're just waiting for maybe June 1st or June 2nd to roll around, and they just let him go. Johnson was a big part of the problem with the O-line. Will be better. Tino compares to Johnson. Yeah, they were talking about today. They were talking about actually they were talking about Boss, and they were talking about Ballard too. That's a shame with Ballard, because unfortunately in the freaking Super Bowl he got injured and he never played another game. He came back, I think, the following. Actually, I think he came back. And he played or tried to play in 2012. I think with the Patriots. I think, but it was a shame, man. It's football. It is what it is. I mean, like Shockey got injured toward the end of the 2007 season, broke his leg against. Sorry if I offend anybody. Broke his leg against the Redskins. Sorry if I offend anyone. But then he never played for the Giants ever again. Ballard, I think that was an ACL or something in the Super Bowl. He never played for the Giants ever again. Boss was only with us for a few seasons. I think he went to the Raiders. Shame. Yeah, but they were talking about that today, on Big Blue Kickoff Live. Yeah, they were comparing, who the hell are these? Oh, they were comparing Bellinger. I can't remember if they were comparing Bellinger to Boss or Bellinger to Ballard. I can't remember which one. But they said Theo Johnson is a better athlete than either Boss or Ballard. Yeah, they said Johnson's a very, very good athlete. Oh yeah. Yeah, did you? Yeah. I always try to usually I'm watching as I'm driving around. I got like an earbud in, so I'm listening to it. But I always try to share that with the Facebook group too. Anytime they come on too, because see, the thing is, they're there. The thing is, they're not allowed to. They can't talk too much about what's going on. They're not allowed to. They can only say certain things. But that was one thing they were talking about. Another thing, Paul Dottino was talking about. He didn't bring in like any specifics or nothing like that. Schmelk Meadow and Madeline Burke. Oh yeah, very good. Yeah, Jonathan Casillas was on today, right? Howard Cross, he's on there a lot. During the season, Howard Cross will be on there. Howard Cross never agrees with anybody. He always disagrees. But Paul Dottino, what he was saying today, he was like, I'll tell you what, I mean, yeah, it wasn't like he was saying we got the best wide receiver group in football, but he said, I'll tell you what, he's, we got some talent on this, it's going to be, we're going to have some good players for the wide receiver group. So we'll have some depth. Now whether Slayton's part of that depth or not, we'll have to wait and see. But he was pretty impressed with the group of guys that we got. Absolutely. Oh yeah, yep, yeah. Dottino, one of his friends from like 40 years ago, I guess it was. Paul Dottino graduated from Fordham. I can't remember this guy's name, but he called in today. And he said, I think they went to, I can't remember the guy's name, but they went to Fordham together. Yeah. Yeah, you can see us. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's nice talking because they were talking about him, what happens or what's your mindset going through OTAs. And Jonathan, I think, said his rookie season, he was injured, But he's talking, it's great because he talks about the guys, if you're injured, OTAs, training camp, stuff goes on in the locker room and all kinds of stuff. You get his point of view, because he was on a couple different teams as well. Obviously, he was on the Giants, so yeah, it's really, really good, really, really, really good talking to him or listen to him talk. I always get a kick at him. Because I don't know, you pronounce words differently and all and everything, but when guys would talk about Saquon Barkley, whoever's talking to Jonathan Casillas, Saquon, he's a blah 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 blah, and then Jonathan Casillas will come on, Saquon. There's Saquon Barkley, but Jonathan Casillas would be Saquon. I always get a kick out of that. All right. Darren Waller. Now, let's see. Also here, my God. Let's see. Tight ends. All right. We got Bellinger, Stahl, Theo Johnson, Lawrence Cager, Tyree Jackson, and Chris Manhertz. We got a lot of guys. We got 7 tight ends. So if Waller were to retire, we still have 6 tight ends. We might keep 3, right? 1 might hit the practice squad. So if we got 7 guys, that means 3 of them will be gone. 3. So I'm not exactly sure who's going to be the 3, but you can figure Bellinger is going to be on the team. Theo Johnson is going to be on the team, right? Who's going to be the other one on the team? And who's going to be the one maybe on the practice squad? I'd have a hard time believing we're going to have 2 tight ends on the practice squad. But hey, anything's possible. Who knows? But they were talking about here in this article here, from the Sporting News, talking about obviously Waller being a cut candidate. Waller has spent the majority of the offseason away from the team as he contemplates his decision. It's been going on for a few months now, which is why the idea of outright releasing the tight end is a consideration. Yeah, well, we'll see. Enlisting the best player who could be cut from every team, Waller was the obvious choice for Bleacher Report. Darren Waller has been transparent about considering retirement this offseason, so it's no coincidence the Giants drafted Theo Johnson in the 4th round. New York presumably will keep Waller if he decides to play, but the team would save $6.7 million if he's released. The Giants traded for Waller during the 2023 season. Yeah, we know about that. Though the Giants have a contingency plan after drafting Theo Johnson in the 4th round, Waller's indecisiveness continues to hover over the Giants' preparation for a potential bounce-back season. Doesn't seem likely that the Giants will cut Waller if he decides to stay, but a decision likely needs to be made sooner. Sooner. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's got to say something. If Waller retires, what's the cap hit? We answered that. No, that's all right. Yeah. No, there is a difference before June 1st and after June 1st. But it's like if he's a post June 1st cut, I guess if he, if he retires after June 1st, or they release him or whatever it is, there's like a $2.4 million in dead cap money. And I think Patty Train was talking about that, where they could like maybe spread that out over the final 2 years of his contract. I think. I think. So maybe they have a 1.2 million dead cap money this season and maybe 1.2 next season. But if he's cut after June 1st, they'd save themselves over $11 million, which would be great, because they only have, from what Patty Train was talking about, I think yesterday, said I think they only have like, what the hell do they have? I'm looking at over cap here. NFL needs to implement a softer cap. Yeah, I know. Team cap. Well, here they got 1.1 million. Wow, jeez, we got 1.1 million in cap space according to over the cap. So, if Waller were to retire, or they cut him after June 1st or whatever, I said once again, this could be already, this could be just a formality. Waller could have, told Shane, I'm getting ready to, I want to retire or whatever, something. You can cut me, do whatever you want, whatever. I'm sure, if he has a conscience. I'm kind of screwing the team over if I retire. You spent the 3rd round pick on me. I only played 12 games for you, So, so this might be already predetermined, But if they save over $11 million on him with the cap space that they have right now, and if Waller's cut, they'll have over $12 million in cap space, and that should be plenty to get them through the season. So they won't have to maybe restructure any other like Bobby Okereke's contract or Andrew Thomas's contract. Because they'd be kicking money down the road, and they really don't want to do that if they don't have to. So that would give them enough money for this season. That would be great. We need to have cap flexibility on opening day. Yeah, I know. I like that. I like the soft. There's so many things. That's. It is what it is. They want the parity and all that stuff and everything. One thing I don't like, I can't. Now you do, to some degree, if you lose one of your players that you drafted, you have a chance of maybe getting a compensatory pick. Like we might get a compensatory pick, maybe from Xavier McKinney or something like that. But I just hate it when you draft good, and because with the salary cap space and all that stuff, you draft too good, and you can't afford to keep your players. I hate that. How are you supposed to build the team unless you just draft a bunch of crappy players? Everybody's worth $2 million. Well, then I guess you can keep your team then, right? But if you draft good guys, there's a chance somewhere along the line you can't afford them all. Yeah. You draft so good, you can't afford to keep your players. Really? Yeah. I don't like it. I hate that. I hate that crap. How much is the cap going up? Well, let's see. Well, once again, this is just from over the cap. Let's see. All right, let's see. What are we at here? 2024. All right, let's see here. Hold on. 2025. Top 51. Oh, wait. Hold. Oh, you got it here? Hey, you know what I'm going to do? Hold on here. I'm going to go to Spot Track. Cap, total cap allowances. Okay, we'll go. Let's see here. $2025 for the Giants. Well, let's say, as of next season, it says the Giants have about $28 million in cap space, but that doesn't include maybe getting rid of Darren Waller. That doesn't include if we keep or get rid of Daniel Jones. So the Giants could easily have, significantly amount more money. They don't know exactly for sure how much is going up next season. They can't, because they were even waiting to see how much the cap of space was going to go up this season. They don't know for sure. They can make educated guesses, but as far as as something concrete or anything. They have to wait till after the season's over with. Obviously it's supposed to go up. So I mean, you pretty much every year it's going to go up. But somewhere along the line, I can't remember if it's next season or it's the following season. There's supposed to be some type of new TV deal coming in or something, but there's supposed to be some. The cap's supposed to go up, decent amount. Goff would have been the best option. He's off the market. How much? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Lions locked him up, right? Didn't they? Oh yeah. All right. Oh, there you go. And then finally, got here. Bill Belichick said he's trying to push. Oh, Netflix. Yeah, is that what? I know it's either next season or the following season, but there's supposed to be some more money coming in. So I mean, instead of the cap going up like $8 million or $10 million, it's supposed to go up like 20 or 25 or something. It's supposed to, go up a decent amount. But as far as exactly how much is supposed to go up, they have to wait for after the season's over with. They don't know for sure. People make educated guesses, and I'm sure they're probably pretty good and pretty close or correct or whatever. But I mean, they know exactly what the cap space is going to be. They got to wait for after the season to be over with. But I saw actually Ed Valentine. He was talking to Leonard Marshall. Had him on there, and he was talking about Leonard Marshall, and Leonard Marshall started crying because I think he was talking about he got on the Ring of Honor and everything like that, and I think Leonard Marshall, I think that's when he started crying because he's like, I go to my grandchildren, I point to my name in the Ring of Honor and all that stuff and everything, and Ed Valentine started asking him about about maybe getting into the Hall of Fame. And Leonard Marshall said, I'd love to get in the Hall of Fame. I said, because Leonard Marshall wants to be in the Hall of Fame to honor those who helped him. He said, I want this for everyone involved in every facet of my life to get into the Hall of Fame. Leonard Marshall, two-time Super Bowl champion, who is third on the Giants' all-time sack list with 79.5, has made no secret over the years of his hope to one day be voted into the Hall of Fame. I want this for everyone involved in every facet of my life, Marshall told Big Blue View during an exclusive interview. It was with Ed Valentine, and it's on YouTube. So it says, my family, my teammates, my coaches, all the men that touched my life as a boy, and I represented in terms of their leadership. Marshall was a second-round pick by the Giants out of LSU in 1983. He played on the Giants' first two Super Bowl teams. He was named to the Pro Bowl in 85 and 86 when he was also a second-team All-Pro. To be enshrined, Marshall would need to be voted in by the Hall of Fame Seniors Committee as well. I had a conversation this morning over email with Bill Belichick. He assured me that I would get his endorsement. So Bill Belichick is trying to endorse Leonard Marshall. Obviously he's just not Bill Belichick. He's got to get other guys in on it as well to endorse, to get Leonard Marshall in to the Hall of Fame. And that meant a hell of a lot to me because this guy helped me become who I became in the Giant uniform, Marshall said. I hope the next kid that comes from where I come from goes beyond me, but you've got to give kids a target. You got to give them a chance to dream. You got to give them a chance to diligently work through the processes that come along with calling yourself a professional in whatever you do, whether it be athletics, education, literacy, financial services, whatever it is you decide to do. You got to see people that look like you doing it, and you got to find somebody you can identify with to give you that target. And if you do that, man, the rest is history. And that's what I was able to do as a kid. And that's why that Pro Football Hall of Fame thing and that gold jacket means so much to me. Bill Marshall obviously was inducted into the Giants Ring of Honor in 2022. He found out during a visit to the team's training camp that year when the team surprised him, Joe Morris, Rodney Hampton, and they announced it in front of the team. So the thing is that Bill Belichick's going to try to endorse him. Marshall wasn't a 3-4 nose tackle. He might have been a can as a 4-3 defensive tackle. Yeah, I mean he had a yeah. If you look here, he had a couple. Yeah, the thing is, I want him in there. Sure, I like obviously want Carl Banks to be in there. Absolutely. It's just that Banks and Marshall. Yeah, they were they dominant? Were they dominating? Were they great? But all that stuff and everything. But you start looking at some of their you look at their resume. I mean, Marshall, he had 3 double sack seasons. He had the 15.5 sacks, was it right? In 85, 86, he had 12 sacks. Then he had 11 sacks in 1991. So he had 3 double-digit sack seasons. He had 79.5 sacks with the Giants, which is, really, really good and all. But, obviously he won 2 Super Bowls with the team. But some of it also has to also include, how many, were you an all-pro? He wasn't. Maybe a second teamer, but and he only went to 2 Pro Bowls. So he had a 12-year career. He only went to 2 Pro Bowls. It's not. I looked at somebody like Fred Dean, okay, who played for the San Diego Chargers. Then they got traded to the 49ers and he won a couple Super Bowls with the 49ers. Now, Leonard Marshall had 83.5 sacks. Fred Dean had 92 sacks. Okay. Fred Dean had 17 sacks one season, 17.5. He had 12. He had 13. He had 10. Fred Dean had 1, 2, 3, 4. He had 5 double-digit sack seasons. Fred Dean went 4 Pro Bowls. He was an All-Pro 2 times. He was an MVP. He was voted. He was a finalist for an MVP 1 year. He was a Defensive Player of the Year finalist one of the years. So he has more accolades to it. Not that he was that much more dominating or anything like that. I think he won 2 Super Bowls. He certainly didn't win one with the Chargers. I can tell you that much. 1981, he won a Super Bowl with the 49ers when they beat the Bengals 26-21, and in 1984 when it was 30. What the frick was it? What the hell did they beat them by? 34-16, 36-14. They beat the Dolphins in 84. So he won 2 Super Bowls. So he has a few more sacks, okay, than, is what, 12, 13 more sacks than Leonard Marshall. They both played 12 seasons. But during his career, all right, he was in the MVP voting. He didn't win it, but he was in the voting, right? He was a Defensive Player of the Year voting one of the years. He was an All-Pro 2 seasons. He was a Pro Bowler 4 seasons. So he has a little bit more going for him than what Leonard Marshall does. Then you look at somebody like Carl Banks. I would love to have Carl Banks in there. But Carl Banks was a Pro Bowler and All-Pro 1 season, 1987, 1 season. He played 12 seasons. 9 with the Giants, 2 with the Browns, 1 with the sorry if I offend anybody, the Redskins. Sorry if I offend anybody. So he played 12 seasons. In those 12 seasons, only one of those 12 seasons was he an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. 1 season. That's not enough, unfortunately. If you mix in 4 Pro Bowls, 5 Pro Bowls, 1, 2 All-Pros or something like that, 2 Super Bowls, I think we're talking Hall of Fame. But it's the Giants won with him, right? The Giants won with Leonard Marshall. Okay, absolutely. But they weren't the only reason why they won the Super Bowls. They also had something to do by Lawrence Taylor too. They had Bill Belichick as the defensive coordinator, Bill Parcells as the. But it's as I said, I would absolutely love. Oh yeah, Eric Howard, and Bert. Yeah, the two. Yeah, Bert after after 89, Burt went to the 49ers, and that's when Howard wound up being the main nose tackle. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, like with both played 12 seasons. Leonard Marshall, I mean, long careers. You got to give him credit for that. But Banks and Marshall, it's also, did you win Super Bowl? Did you go to a Super Bowl? They won. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Can't take that away from them. But during your playing career, what did you do? Were you dominant in your position for 12 seasons? And Carl Banks, one season, 87. And that was the strike season. That was the scab season. So we only played 3-4 games, right? We played 15 games. They missed a game. There was 3 scab games. So he only played in 12 games. 12? Let me say. In 87. He played in 12 games in 87. So Carl Banks had a dominating 87 season. He was an all-pro and a Pro Bowler. Boom. But at 12, if Carl Banks, does Bank get overlooked because of the president? Well, that too. Yeah, that's possibly that too. But was he did he dominate, his position? Did he become an all-pro at his outside line? He didn't get enough recognition, during the regular season. Like, as I said, Pro Bowls and all pros, or any other awards he might have won or something like that. I said, because Dean in 1981, he finished in the top 5, the MVP voting. He was number 4. The NFL AP MVP voting. He was number 4. But he was the number 1 defensive player that year. Ken Anderson, Joe Montana was number 2, Tony Dorsett, and then Fred Dean was number 4. He was 4th in the NFL AP MVP voting in 1981, Fred Dean. And then and then that same year in 81, the NFL AP MVP voting. I'm not sure what that does. It's the same thing. Yeah. I click on the same thing. Oh. But he was an all-pro that year. He was a Pro Bowler. There's a lot of guys you can put in here. I just thought of Fred Dean off the top of my head because he was good. If he didn't go to the 49ers, would he have been a Super Bowl? Would he have been a Hall of Famer, Fred Dean? I don't know. Don't know. If he stayed with the Chargers, I don't know. The Niners secondary of that era. Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, great secondary too. Absolutely. But sometimes it's not who you are. Sometimes it's where you are. Where you go. I've said this before, and I'll say it to the day I die. I think it was 72. I think it's when Franco Harris got drafted. If the Giants, instead of drafting Eldridge Small and who is the guy from Nebraska? They drafted a Outland Trophy winner from Larry Jacobson. So the Giants the Giants had 2 first-round picks in 1972. They drafted Eldridge Small. Oh, my God. I don't know who was hitting the crack pipe when they drafted that guy. But then Larry Jacobson, who was pretty good. I said in 1972, if the Giants drafted Franco Harris is not in the Hall of Fame. Franco Harris got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's in the Hall of Fame. It's, sometimes it's not who you are, it's where you go. I'm saying like with Fred Dean. If Fred Dean doesn't go from the Chargers to the 49ers, is he in the Hall of Fame? Well, maybe not. Anyway, where do you rank the 91 Falcons secondary with Brian Jordan prime? Who moved? Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. That was a heck of a debacle, wasn't it? With Prime. I wasn't sure if he wanted to play baseball or football, or he was playing both at the same time. I think it was. I think it was toward the end of the baseball season. I think he was playing baseball and football, But I'll tell you what, that they had a very, very good. Oh yeah, I mean that very exciting, very exciting. Their secondary. Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I miss those days. Let me tell you what. Too legit to quit. That's right. You got the what's his name? Not LL Cool J. On the sideline. What's his name? Glenville traded a kid named Brett Favre. Yeah. What was that guy's name? Who's the one? Who sang that song? Too legit to quit. MC Hammer. There you go. Yeah, he was on the sideline. Bad Moon Rising, their wide receiver. I remember I had him in some of my fantasy league drafts back in the 90s and all of that. He got me some points. He was good. They had some good receivers back then. Oh, yeah. Their problem was that they were in the same division with the 49ers, and the 49ers were just too good. Just too good, But I don't, unfortunately, I don't think with even Carl Banks or Leonard Marshall, I don't think they have enough credentials to warrant, going into the Hall of Fame. I mean, there's some guys. I mean, like this guy. God, I can't even believe this guy's in the Hall of Fame. But Cliff Harris. I mean, if you look, I saw him play throughout the 70s when they beat the Giants twice every year. It seemed like over every year. But I can never say to myself, Cliff Harris, man, that guy was unbelievable. That guy was like the best defensive player on the field. But if you look at his stats, right, not only did he win a Super Bowl with the 71 Cowboys and the 77 Cowboys, but I think this really just goes to show you maybe how weak the safety play was maybe in the NFL back then. Because I don't remember saying to myself, man, I'll tell you what, that Cliff Harris, that guy is an unbelievable safety. I don't remember saying that to myself. But if you look at Cliff Harris, he was an all-pro in 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, and his final season, 79. He played 10 seasons. And his last 6 seasons, he was an all-pro. And he was Pro Bowler. He was a Pro Bowler. His last 6 seasons, he was a Pro Bowler. And 3 straight seasons, 76, 7, and 8, he was an all-pro. So, I mean, he had 60. No, he had 20. He only had 29 interceptions. He had 18 fumble recoveries. I mean, 29 interceptions. I mean, it's like I can never, ever remember saying to myself, man, this guy is unbelievable. And this guy, I mean, like how you see Troy Polamalu, maybe Ed Reed or Ronnie Lott or somebody like that. Man, this guy's a difference maker. I never said that about myself with Cliff Harris. Never. Not one time. Because back when I'm living in Long Island, right, the Cowboys are on every week. The Cowboys were on more than the Giants were. Right. And from 1970 to 79, there's 10 seasons. Right. I'd see the Cowboys out of the 14 weeks, probably 12 of them because they were on TV that much. And he was the safety all the time. I was never like, man, this guy's unbelievable. Never. John Madden, if he was broadcasting back then, John Madden would never say it. Tell you what, that Cliff Harris. But he's probably I tell you what, he's probably the best defensive player on the field today. Never. But he's in the Hall of Fame. He was a Pro Bowler 6 straight seasons. He was an All-Pro 3. So it is what it is, right? I'm more of a Bill Withers guy. You know that Marshall requested the trade to the Saints back then because of a. Not kidding. Oh, did he really? Yeah. Long Island was living on Gun Hill Road. Where's that at? When I was born, I moved out to Bethpage, 1964. So 64 to 69, I was in Bethpage. And then toward the end of 69, we moved out to Smithtown. It was a town inside. It was Nesconset. It was inside of Smithtown. Oh, Bronx. There you go. Bronx. Okay. I was born in Queens. And right after I was born, we moved out to Bethpage. So I was in Bethpage for about 5 years. And then for 8 years, I was in Nesconset. And in 1977, my father got a job transfer and he moved down here to South Jersey. I'm in Turnersville, which is about 25 minutes from Philadelphia. So I've been in Turnersville not in the same house. I've been in 2 houses since 1977, but both of them been in Turnersville. We moved here about 2 miles away from here where my mom was at, right? And I lived there for 10 years. But then, so I moved, I got married, I moved. My wife's from Turnersville, I'm from Turnersville. So we moved into a house in Turnersville. So I've been in this house here since 1987. So I was born in Jersey City, raised in Brooklyn. Oh, Brooklyn, that's where my mom was born, Brooklyn. And lived in Yonkers in Hudson County, New Jersey. Oh, there you go. There, all up north, yeah. Lived in the North Bronx before Westchester. You've done the circuit up there. You've moved around quite a few times. I'm 60. I've only been in 4 houses. That's it. Bethpage, Nesconset, and two here in Turnersville. That's it. I've been here for 37 years. Yeah. Yeah, so 37 years here. So, but back in the 70s, that's when from 70 to 77, I started watching football in 70, and from 77, that's when we moved down here. Yeah, but I don't think, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of guys out there on a decent amount of guys out there, like maybe a Leonard Marshall or something, like maybe a Banks, or maybe had a good season or two or whatever like that. But the one thing that Banks and Marshall do have going for them is that they have formed a phenomenal defense. They got themselves 2 Super Bowls under their belt and everything. So maybe they get in sometime. I just don't see it happening. I don't think they have enough individual awards, during their regular playing careers that warrant them to get a nod to get into the Hall of Fame. But my dad was a postal supervisor. We moved from. Gotcha. I gotcha. So if he went someplace else, that's where you guys had to move to, huh? I guess it came with the job, huh? Yeah. But I guess it was a good job, though. So I guess you got to do what you got to do. All right, God, wow, been 1 hour and 20, almost 1 hour and 22 minutes. Oh, me too. I consider myself a New Yorker, especially around here, nothing but Philly fans. Oh, yeah, I'm a New Yorker. Absolutely. All right, guys, 1 hour and 22 minutes. Jersey guys and Vinny G, man, good talking to you guys. Thanks for keeping me up. I greatly appreciate it. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. And Vinny G, man, and Jersey guys, good night. So, as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.